Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to our virtual open house on the health sciences at Wells College. We're so pleased to have you with us. My name is Gerard Turbide. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment Services. I'm so glad to spend this time with you today. Wells College is a very special place, a nationally recognized private college set in a peaceful little village right on the shore of Cayuga Lake, the longest of the Finger Lakes. Our mission is to teach you to think critically, reason wisely, act humanely as you cultivate your meaningful life. Now more than ever, organizations and people with that mission are essential. At Wells, you'll get unmatched personal attention. We have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio, small classes, individual advising to help you plan and prepare for your future, a diverse range of academic programs, the ability to create your own major, and an exploratory program for students who've yet to decide, all on a campus where everyone seems to be on a first name basis. Small is powerful. We have fewer than 400 students, so we can do everything one student at a time. We guarantee close and meaningful connections with faculty. We can assure you that you'll have access to our resources and our programs, and we will hear your voice in and out of the classroom. We care about every one of our students, and before you know it, you'll become part of our network of Wells College alumni who span the globe, yet still consider Wells to be their home. We provide everything you'd expect from a nationally ranked liberal arts college, stellar faculty, and academic rigor to develop the life of your mind. And our curriculum goes beyond the liberal arts, blending real-world experiences. Every student at Wells pursues internships of one type or another, and you can even do your first internship at the end of next semester. Our innovative programs in business and the health sciences offer interdisciplinary, career-oriented experiences, and whatever you choose to study, you'll gain the knowledge and the skills you need to succeed. And we are a community with over 500 would be a long time, wouldn't it? With over 150 years of history and traditions, a real living honor code that our students not only sign their names to when they decide to join our family, but Wells students and alumni seek to bring the principles of the honor code into the world. Ask any Wells student or graduate whether they are odd or even, and you'll quickly see how our history and traditions bind and connect generations of Wellsians. You're on an exciting journey. You're about to make one of the most important decisions that you'll ever make. Which college will prepare you for your future? Your college education is an investment, and you would be hard pressed to find a better value than that of a Wells College education. A nationally renowned private college combining the liberal arts with real world experience, a breathtaking campus environment, small, inclusive, and surprisingly diverse community. And Wells College's net cost is among the lowest of institutions like us. And we are open. As we speak, our students are here on our campus, attending classes, eating in the dining hall, and engaged in various activities. They're home away from home. We're offering in-person campus visit options throughout each week and weekend, including our Friday and Saturday Destination Wells programs. Our visits are properly social distanced, and we look forward to safely welcoming you to campus. So let's have a meaningful conversation about Wells College and your bright future. We've assembled a panel to represent the Wells family and give you deeper insights into how Wells prepares students for careers in healthcare and the health professions, one of the most rapidly growing, if not the most rapidly growing and diverse of career fields. So at this time, I'll ask each of our panelists to introduce themselves, beginning with Dr. Burwell.
Hello, I'm Professor Burwell. I teach a lot of the chemistry classes here at Wells. So those dreaded organic chemistry, biochemistry classes that a lot of you might be looking at if you're going on in the health sciences. I love working at Wells, and one of the reasons I chose to come to work at Wells is the close relationship I get to develop with students. I've worked at larger universities before, but you're really a mentor for life at Wells. As I'm looking at Fernando and all of you that are graduating, I really enjoy that connection I have with the students.
Hi, everyone. My name is Deb Gagnon. I'm a professor of psychology here at Wells. As you can see, my background is in cognitive psychology and cognitive neuroscience. So I teach mostly the cognitive and the biologically based courses in psychology, some of which help support our health sciences program, such as neuropsychology, which I'm teaching this semester, in fact. I also am the coordinator of a cognitive and brain science minor, which is a popular minor among our health sciences students. My background has involved work with stroke patients and head injury patients in trauma and rehabilitation centers. So that's where my experience in health sciences lie. I'm particularly interested in supporting students, working with students who are interested in the allied health fields, such as speech and language pathology, occupational therapy, and of course, cognitive and brain science. I chose Wells, I chose to work here, like Professor Burwell, because of the small size, because of the outstanding liberal arts academic program that we have. And the thing that I most appreciate about Wells is the opportunity to develop close relationships with my students and to continue those relationships beyond Wells. So I look forward to possibly including you as one of those students in the future.
Fernando? You might be muted.
Okay, there you go. Thank you very much. My name is Fernando Escovedo. I graduated in 2018 from a major in biological sciences and biomedical sciences, health sciences major. After my time at Wells, I decided to come to work at the University of Rochester as a laboratory technician for about a year, a little bit over a year, and then I transitioned into being a clinical research coordinator. Now I'm very happy to be able to be working with some of the best doctors that I have ever known, and in some instances to develop vaccines, and in others to maybe just do trials for different medications that are now being accepted by the FDA. I chose Wells because I thought it was a great fit for me. Coming from Mexico, I was very used to big groups and not really being the center of attention for putting it in a certain way. But after coming to the United States, I found out that if I had the kind of participation that I could have in the classroom, it really paid off later on in my life. And thanks to Wells, I'm where I am, and I'm very happy to have been part of Wells and continue now as an alumni.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Molly Waltz. I'm a senior here at Wells right now. Obviously, I have a health sciences major, and I also have a chemistry minor. So right now, obviously it's my last semester here. So some of the stuff I do on campus currently is I am the collegiate president. I am the captain of the women's lacrosse team right now. I also play field hockey. I've given tours on campus, especially for that Destination Wells visit that I highly recommend you all come and do. It's a lot of fun. And I'm also on the management team for the Grind, which is our coffee shop on campus. And next fall, I'll actually be attending pharmacy school at the University of Binghamton.
Hello, my name is Aaron Connolly. I'm a health science major. Currently, I am a rising senior, so I'm going to graduate this spring. And I came to Wells. I'm from Massachusetts, and I found that Wells would give me the opportunity to have small class sizes, be able to seize the opportunity to fully engage with professors and learn a curriculum very well, be seen as a person more than just like a number. I feel like I'm very engaged on campus. I make sure to, I'm part of the varsity swim team. I'm the swim captain. And at Wells, I also had the opportunity to be part of many different clubs and had the opportunity to take part of different experiences such as study abroad, and also be a campus tour guide and be part of many different work studies, work with different people, and be a major component on campus.
Hello, everybody. My name is Maria Munoz Ochoa, and I'm a sophomore here at Wells. I'm a pre-vet health sciences major with an environmental sciences minor. I currently have 3 jobs on campus, one of which I am right now as a front desk worker at the Schwartz Athletic Building. I also work at the Grind with Molly, and as a current COVID student ambassador, I'm also part of the health center committee and the C-STEP program with Dr. Ergel and Forces with Aaron.
It's my greatest fear that I would fail to unmute myself. Hello, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be able to speak to you about what we do here in our amazing program. I'm Kevin Ergel. I'm the Director of Health Sciences and also the Director of the Collegiate Science and Technology Entry Program. I'm an anthropologist and a clinical acupuncturist with getting over now 30 years of clinical experience, as well as graduate health sciences and healthcare education experience. And my role in the program is essentially a beginning to end support system. I teach some of the introductory courses for students, and I also work very closely with students in the senior seminar where they complete their theses, which are quite remarkable and in many cases tie into prior research work that they've done within the program. I have some research projects with the University of Rochester and find Wells probably to express the very essence of what is the best about American liberal education. It's a remarkable institution. It's phenomenally collegial, and faculty are so remarkably committed to undergraduate education that it's really a pleasure to be here. I'm going to speak to you today a little bit about healthcare studies at Wells. And the first point I'd like to make to you is that we support any student in any major as they proceed to a health profession, a PhD program, or even a private sector job after graduation. So while in a little bit, I'm going to speak in a rather focused way about the health sciences major, I want to be sure that bio majors, chem majors, anthropology students, English literature, visual arts, criminology, business majors understand that these resources, particularly the Health Professions Advising Committee, we have members here today, particularly the resources for developing opportunities in experiential learning, clinical shadowing, internships, and really most remarkably at Wells, the opportunities for undergraduate research, particularly in laboratory settings. This is something that is remarkable to see, and I see a lot of it because I'm in and amongst the labs here. It's a remarkable place to go to school from that point of view. When you're thinking about graduate programs in the health professions, apart from grades, apart from examinations, when you're thinking about programs, these programs are thinking about your academic performance, completion of prerequisites, experience and exposure. Majors are actually somewhat secondary. Now, having said that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the health sciences major and what it can offer you. So the health sciences major is distinctive at Wells. It awards a Bachelor of Science degree, and it is a Bachelor of Science in Biological Sciences, Health Sciences. So it is quite focused on the natural sciences. However, it brings tremendous breadth in relation to social sciences and other areas of inquiry, because our goal with this major is to support the student's entry into any chosen professional school or postgraduate career path, and to be sure that they have the breadth of experience that makes them attractive candidates as they explore postgraduate options. It's customizable. It's very personalized. You already see how closely faculty can work with students at Wells. It's experiential, and it's designed really to prepare students for success after graduation. Whether you're interested in graduate or professional schools, whether you want to enter the healthcare industry, or whether you simply want to be a broadly educated human being throughout your life. Go ahead for the next slide, please. So the major has a core curriculum, which is displayed on the screen. And it's really up here to show you that it is a robust and science-based curriculum. Most of the elements that health professions programs are looking for at a graduate level are here. 2 years of college chemistry, substantial coursework in biology. However, you'll also see breadth areas in psychology, and then there's the opportunity to do focused distributions in sociology, psychology, mathematics, and additional topics in the science. Next slide, please. The program is highly recognized. For instance, the health sciences major as a major is one of the 6 most recognized majors when medical schools are looking at applicants. I provided here just a sampling of the kinds of programs that the health sciences major can prepare you for. And again, this is not the complete list, but it is the dominant list. Next slide, please. But supposing you don't want to go to graduate school, or you're not sure that you want to go to graduate school, what's the use of a health sciences major? This degree can prepare you for a range of careers in the healthcare industry. Biomedical informatics, numerous positions within the health insurance industry, pharma, which is constantly looking for people with a strong basic science background, strong people skills, and the ability to understand complex systems. For entry-level positions, there are opportunities in healthcare management, lab management. I think we have an example of that on the panel today. Healthcare facility coordination, patient education. Really, there are a wide range of things you can do with this degree without necessarily focusing on professional postgraduate education. Next, please. Wells offers a range of complementary minors. I've created a short list because sometimes, especially if you're thinking of taking the bachelor's into the workplace after graduation, a complementary minor can be very effective. A business minor, computer science, management, or if you're trying to strengthen your portfolio when you present yourself to a medical school, a veterinary school, physical therapy, or PA, a background, additional coursework in chemistry, cognitive and brain science, psychology, women's and gender studies. These are minors that allow you to stand out as an applicant. Next, please. Similarly, they're healthcare-oriented minors. Professor Gagnon mentioned a couple. We have coursework, a minor in health and medical ethics, healthcare management, which is an exceptionally complementary minor for individuals leaving the program and heading into industry with a strong health sciences core, but also management and business skills. And then finally, there is the holistic health studies program, which is exceptionally complementary and supportive both of the major itself and of other majors. I believe that's the last slide. Thank you all very much, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but we have a phenomenal panel who can also respond to your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Ergel. So we have this panel assembled, and I just want to talk a bit about how this will work. You've already seen some introductions by members of our admission team who are also here and active in the chat. You're able to pose questions in the chat. When you do that, if you would direct your questions to all panelists and attendees, that way we can all see those questions. And admissions counselors can assist you with getting those questions into the Q&A for us to discuss. And we already have a few questions in here. And I think this first one actually is a great lead off. So I'm going to pose this, and I think we might have a couple folks that want to talk about this. What are some notable examples of what Wells Health Sciences alumni are doing now with their degrees?
Well, I can speak a little bit to that. I'll jump in. So really everything that Kevin put on his slide with the possible career options, we have examples. So we have people in vet school, medical school, people go on to get their PhD in the biomedical sciences at places like Yale and Dartmouth. We have people going into the allied health fields quite often. And basically any of the things that we talked about today, we have alums doing just that.
I might chime in, and Molly, I apologize, but I'm just going to say it. Molly was one of the first students that I really had the opportunity to engage with when I came to Wells, and I helped finalize some arrangements for an internship she had set up with Cuga Health Systems in pharmacy. And she completed her senior thesis in my class. It was a thesis that built on her research experience. It was a phenomenal piece of work. And she applied to, I believe, 5 pharmacy programs and received acceptance to all 5.
I've got a couple questions I want to do in follow up to that. First, and Molly, I'll come back to you because, Lindsay, often students wonder about and hear a lot about, what is your med school accept rate? What's the success with which students gain admission to med school or pharmacy school or other professional schools? Can you speak a little bit to that?
Sure. So a lot of students enter Wells and they want to be either a doctor or a veterinarian. And one thing Wells does really well compared to other programs I've worked at is that when students come in, they actually are allowed to explore. And doing those internships, they realize, no, you know what, maybe I don't want to go to medical school. I'd rather be a PA or a nurse practitioner or pharmacy student. Molly can tell her story, right, on how she's changed. Fernando also has a story on how he changed his trajectory. I think Maria's still pre-vet and Aaron's medical school. I think you're my 2 advisees that stayed on that track. But I will say our acceptance rate into vet school and medical school, if the student is serious and wants to get the grades and put the time in, we've had students we have a very high acceptance rate into medical school and vet school. I think, especially for vet school, I think of the 5 years I've been here, I have advised 5 students, and I think 4 of them are in vet school, and 1 is doing a gap year because they wanted to get more experience before going in. And medical school is the same story, but you have the grades and the work ethic, and we provide the support, and you can really go wherever you want in the health professions.
Can I add to that?
Please.
Okay. I would say that one of the things that makes us so successful is that we can write, golden letters of recommendation for our students because we do know them so well. And our students are easy to write golden letters of recommendation about because they have so many opportunities and experiences that they've had that allow them to stand out from the rest of an applicant pool. Everybody that applies to medical school or vet school is going to have the same set of course history prerequisites that are necessary to even apply to those programs, and they're all going to have good grades. that's, nobody's applying to medical school that doesn't have good grades. But what really makes applicants stand out are those sort of outside the classroom experiences and quite frankly, the letters of recommendation that they can get from their faculty. And those faculty we can write those great letters because we know our students so well. Something that doesn't happen in a larger college or university where faculty and students don't get to know each other so well. So I think we've been very successful for that reason.
I want to actually reinforce that a little bit, because our ability to provide students with strong undergraduate research experience, especially laboratory-based research experience, is a phenomenal resource. These experiences are looked at very positively by almost every medical professional program, certainly by medical schools. They are not always readily available at larger institutions for undergraduate education. And one of the things that I see with our faculty that just really fills me with joy, if students make the connection, and sometimes even if they don't, faculty pull them in and expose them to these research opportunities. And I have seen some really, really exciting processes occur with students in their sophomore and junior years as they get ready to enter the process of applying to schools.
So one of the things that I always think of is interesting about Wells, several people have said this to me over time, is that students will often have the same faculty member for a couple or several courses over the course of time. And that's one of those ways that you all get to know each other so well, and kind of forms the basis for that golden recommendation letter that you were talking about, Deb. I'm wondering if any of our students or our alum could speak a little bit to that relationship, or maybe other examples or ways that you've developed those kind of close mentoring relationships with faculty.
I could definitely say something about this. All right, so like Gerard said, we get taught by typically the same professors year after year because we're such a small school. So Professor Burwell has actually been my professor since I was a freshman here, and she's also my advisor. And when I came in, as she hinted to earlier, I wanted to go to medical school. And she was telling me for so long that I should look into pharmacy school. And until my junior year, I was like, no, it's not what I want to do. And then I finally caved and was able to set up an internship with Professor Burwell and Kevin about with doing like an internship at a local pharmacy back home. And the first day I did that internship, I went home, texted Professor Burwell and was like, yeah, you're right. All right, this is what I want to do. So they know you much better than you know yourself.
I think I could chime in there too as well. Actually, I graduated in 2018, but now at this point, years after I graduated, I mean, I still contact some of my professors almost on a daily basis. Like I was just talking to Professor Burwell, not even because of this, but just because, anytime something happens in my life, any kind of like life event that I would like to have reminded that Professor Burwell had an impact on my life, I let her know. And it's as easy as sending her a quick text, a quick message, and I know I can talk to her anytime I want.
Yeah, I could also jump in on that. Like the professors are really like there for you and they want to see you succeed and they're there every step of the way. So I know at Wells you have to do like some internships. So even over the summer, I would send a text to Professor Burwell and she would like check in on me. How's my internship going? And like, how's my well-being, which is always a good, it's a good helping hand to like know that your professors are there, not only to like make sure you're doing well and whether you're doing an internship or doing research, but just also like your well-being and how are you as a person as well, which I thought was a really good thing that Wells has, seeing you as like a person more than just like a number.
So here's an interesting question. Thank you all for your responses, by the way. Here's an interesting question from our audience. How are labs happening in the pandemic? Any changes there?
All of my labs so far have been in person still because we do, like Gerard mentioned, we have a faculty to student ratio of like 1:9. So classes are really, really small and our labs are, they're regular size labs, so we can social distance pretty well. So a lot of our labs, in addition to our classes, are able to be in person, which is nice because that really gives you the full experience, really develop the lab skills that you'll need if you're going on to even into the workforce or just into professional school.
And I can say something about this from a purely observational point of view, and that is that I watch all the science faculty both figuring out how to conduct labs safely in person and also figuring out how to make labs, adapting previous practices for safer delivery and also being able to shift to distance where that's been necessary. And there's a phenomenal commitment to really vast amounts of work to make the lab experiences work out as educational events in the context of the pandemic. The fact that we can be in person, though, is an amazing strength.
A related question from our audience is about what your favorite laboratory or other experiential learning opportunity or experience has been, something noteworthy or memorable.
I could add to that. I have a couple, if that's okay. One of them was I did like organic chemistry with Professor Burwell. The reason for that was that we got to do an independent project. So we got to pick something that we're interested in. So my group did something on Pepto-Bismol. Professor Burwell could tell you more about it and how much mess we made because it's Pepto-Bismol and there was like pink everywhere. So I do like that. Wells gives you the opportunity to sort of, if you're interested in something, you could go out and do it and give you the research and like be able to go do something as close to it as possible. Like you can't get like a jellyfish, but you were like, Professor Burwell could help you get into the right direction of doing things that you're interested in. And also I did research. I did an REU at Cornell University, which was pretty cool. So my professors helped me get there. And I just thought that was cool going to a bigger university, working under working under a research group at a different school and then getting the experience. I worked on microscopy, so it was just like brain scans of mice, and I just found that really cool too. And then using the skills that I had at Wells helped me be able to get through, do a presentation over there, and use the lab work I worked at Wells over there in order to have a good internship. So that's my experience, at least.
I have a couple experiences that I really liked. One of them was during one of my classes, instrumental analysis. I actually got the chance to work with an NMR machine, which is a nuclear magnetic resonance machine. I didn't realize how rare this experience was until I actually got to my job as a lab tech, where I realized that some people don't ever really get to use them. And my colleagues were actually very, very surprised that I was using it because the only other person that knew how to use one was a postdoc in one of the other labs. And I was just wowed at the fact that, okay, well, as an undergrad, I got that experience, and I can see now that no one else really got that experience. The other experience that I thought was very interesting and very fun was as a TA, helping one of the groups during their organic chemistry projects, synthesizing serotonin from tryptophan. We thought about that kind of myth that says that, after Thanksgiving, when you eat too much turkey, which is high in tryptophan, why do people get sleepy? And it's because they think that that uptake in tryptophan creates excess of serotonin, which helps you go to sleep. We of course, it's a complicated process. We actually weren't even sure, as to many times happens, that if we actually synthesize a compound, but it was definitely a very, very much of a learning experience, an independent project that you get to do that you probably don't get a chance to do in any other place.
I think that's a perfect kind of example or demonstration of this idea that small is powerful. And so at Wells College, you're not taking a backseat to graduate students. the faculty are getting you directly connected to those experiences, to that equipment. And I wonder, Lindsay or others, if you can speak a little bit about the facilities that we have at Wells and how those compare to other schools, and the level of technology that students are exposed to.
Sure, I can talk a little bit about this. I'm right in the middle of writing a grant, actually. I teach organic chemistry, biochemistry, and I have a research program where I have right now 11 students doing independent research projects with me. I'm a medicinal chemist by trade, so I like to do drug design and things like that. And so the project like Fernando was talking about, I really get into that, talking about how molecules are synthesized. And my research project actually kind of, and the great thing about Wells, ties into multiple things. And so I actually study a neurodegenerative disease, which I'll be asking Professor Gagnon for some help in the future. And so the disease we study is Leigh syndrome. It is a disease caused by mutations in mitochondrial proteins. And we are actually making Leigh syndrome models in yeast, which sounds funny, but yeast are organisms that can live without their mitochondria. So it's easier to study the mutation, and it's easy for undergrads to work with. I have a couple students that have designed their own project from the start to finish. So we have everything from what we need to use to work with DNA, thermocyclers, gel apparatus, things like that. We have an NMR like Fernando was talking about, and a lot of other analytical chemistry equipment like gas GCs and IRs. And we all share. That's the other thing, is like all of the professors share with one another. So if I have a student working in my lab that really wants to do something with regards to like a fluorimeter or whatnot, then we go to the other chemistry professor's lab. And that's why Wells is such a great place to work, is that we are collaborative. It's not and that we share everything, including students, right? So students that want to do a joint project are welcome to do that as well.
We have a question that relates more to, I think, admission. The question is about what GPA do you need to get in? And I assume the question is about getting into Wells. And I might shock you because I don't have an answer in terms of what a minimum GPA is. And again, that goes back to because we're interested in learning about you as an applicant in all aspects, just as we treat every student here as a whole person. So it's not just, oh, if you have a 3.25, you're in. We're interested in understanding the context of the school that you studied in. And we want to see a bit of your writing and understand, or other ways that you express who you are. We're interested in your references and understanding how you're going to contribute to our community. So it's a bit less straightforward than saying, what's your GPA? Molly, I want to come back to you about your thesis, and you were kind enough to share it with me a while ago, and I have tried to read it, and I'm going to admit that it's a bit dense for me, because me and science. But I have a question about it, and it's not necessarily about the content of the thesis, but my question is, what did you learn about yourself in that process of writing a thesis? And others, please feel free to add your thoughts on that too.
Okay, so for me, when I wrote my thesis, I actually was very lucky in that I took our biochemical pathways course the semester before. And in that course, we had to write a review article, which is basically unheard of at the undergrad level. It's an insane thing to be able to have that skill right now. So I basically wrote the first half of my thesis in that course. And then when I went on to do the actual thesis class with Dr. Urgel, I was pretty ahead of the game, I guess. So that was good because I could just kind of coast through it. I'd already done most of my research. My thesis was actually on doxorubicin as a chemotherapeutic agent. I looked at the mechanisms of action, its use in the treatment of breast cancer, clinical limitations like dose-limited cardiotoxicity, and then interactions with the pentose phosphate pathway. And so I think what I learned from that process about myself is that I don't know, that I really like doc service, and I definitely want to go into pharmacy because I want to specialize in oncology, specifically pediatric oncology. So I think for me, that really just cemented that I am going for what I actually want to do and what I really enjoy.
That's excellent. And I want to pose a question to you and other students. In the process of studying at Wells, have you learned about something you don't want to do, that you don't like as a result of your experience here?
Physics.
I second that.
I also agree.
I know everyone says it's the organic chemistry that gets you. It's not, it's the physics.
We have also a question that gets to life on campus. And it's about, are there room in the residence halls? Are students, in residence hall rooms together? What does that look like right now?
I can answer that one. So when you come to Wells, you get to choose 2 residence buildings. So you can either live in Leach or Dodge. Dodge is a sort of suite style, and Leach is a sort of like floor. So you get a roommate, and so far life isn't really too different in the residence halls. You have to be a little bit more cautious because of COVID-19, but we wear masks. I currently have a roommate, and as of right now, clubs are still happening on campus and events are still happening, but we make sure to follow, COVID protocol, safety guidelines. Like we had a Super Bowl watch party with limited capacity, and we're able to get food, but also being sure to be cautious by like wearing masks and, socially distancing, making sure to not touch the food and being distance from people, but also being a community, coming together and enjoying the Super Bowl or any other event that we have, like a chicken wing night or trivia night. Since I know student activities is trying very hard to make sure students are engaged on campus as well, because we are in the middle of nowhere, but they make sure to give us events in order to enjoy where we're at and also try to be as safe as possible.
And a little bit more is around life as a student, and particularly a student in the health sciences. How do you balance your academic work, your research, your co-curriculars? Are you able to, quote unquote, have a life and study what you're studying?
I would say, yeah. Like, as long as you stay on top of your stuff, obviously you have to have good time management skills. For me, and I know for Aaron and Maria, we're all athletes right now, and the tendency that athletes have is to we're more on top of our stuff when we're in season because we have even less time. So if we do have free time, we have to get our homework done or eat dinner, stuff like that. But it's really easy, and the professors really are there to support you. Once you have a professor for a few semesters, they really get to know who you are, how you study, and what help you'll need with certain things. So I've never, in my time here, luckily, I haven't ever really struggled with making sure or figuring out how to get everything in. And I do quite a few things on campus.
I'm just going to interject here for a second. So the health science major, and Professor Gagnon can add to this. One reason we design the health science major is most people that are going off in the health profession, say, are a biology major, but they then have to worry about figuring out how to get physics and all of these prerequisites in addition to everything they need for their bio major. We designed the health science major so that most of the prerequisites that they need are in one major. So that gives them time to do sports. Think about studying abroad. We have a lot of health science majors that, when COVID's not a thing, do study abroad. And I know Maria is interested in that if that ever opens up again. And so and that benefits you because when you go on to apply for whatever health profession you want, you're not just an A student, right? That has good grades and things like that. You are an athlete, you are a leader on campus, you are studying abroad, and you have all of that stuff that is what we write about in our letters of recommendation.
Yeah, I know that Aaron has studied abroad. I don't know about the others, but our health science students tend to be very active on campus in extracurricular activities. Right now, Molly and Aaron are our president and vice president of collegiate, respectively. That's huge, right? They are student leaders and on top of that, athletes. So I think they are proof positive that you can succeed in health sciences and have a life, a very rich and interesting extracurricular life.
I can also chime in. Currently, I have like a pretty packed schedule and I'm also working 3 jobs, sometimes 2 in a day. And I still like balance everything and still have fun and find times to relax. So it's not too hard as long as you manage your time and everything.
Yeah, and just
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, just to add something onto what Professor Gagnon said. So collegiate is kind of like our student governing body right now. We have 7 members and all of them are some sort of psychology or science student right now, with I think 4 of us being in the health sciences. So we really do have time to do some other stuff.
We have a question from an audience member that gets a little bit more concrete in terms of academics. Can you talk about, for someone looking to study in the health sciences, what might be typical courses that they might take in the first semester?
I could speak to that just a little bit and then folks can chime in. I mean, typically Wells asks you to take some specific courses that orient you to Wells itself. So Wells 100, possibly a college writing course. Most of the health sciences majors will take Chem 107L, which is our first semester of general chemistry. That's frequently a course that folks will do. And then depending on their kind of plans overall and the way they want to structure the health sciences major, they may make other choices. Usually the cornerstone in the first year, the first 2 semesters of general chemistry, and frequently HS 100, or the Introduction to Health Sciences, which is an exposure to health professions and also a career planning course to help you get the most out of the Wells experience.
And I will mention, a lot of students come in with credits too, and we work with you individually, and some, definitely we are transfer student friendly. Fernanda was a transfer student from CCC. So we work with you closely one-on-one to see how to best tailor your schedule.
I could also add, since I came with some credits, Wells also gave me the flexibility to take classes that I was really interested in. So other than I was able to have the chance to take Anatomy and Physiology 1. Molly was able to take both of them. So that was also the health science major, even though you're supposed to take your general chemistries, your physics, your biochemistries, your molecular, you also have the flexibility to take things that you're interested in because it's a liberal arts school. So you're able to take, if you're interested in psychology, take more psychology-based classes or business classes, and your advisors help you in order to make sure that it fits in your schedule, you're able to graduate and you're able to pursue something that you like as well, whether it's a major or a minor. Since I know some people did a health science psychology major, or some people have done I'm doing a health sciences and then a psychology anthro minor. So I know the advisors work with you very well, so you're not missing out on a class that might happen in a certain semester or a certain year.
Thank you, Aaron. We also have a question that gets to what's it like in the classroom right now. We've had to adjust. We have a mix of in-person and hybrid instruction happening, but I'm wondering if really anyone can talk about what that experience is like, how that's working, how students are engaging with faculty in the classroom setting, in this current set of circumstances we're in.
For me right now, all of my classes are in person. You know, like I said, small class sizes were able to be in person. And I will say that I very much prefer being in person than to being online. So that's, you know, a great thing to be able to do. Last semester, I think I only had one class that was all virtual. And besides that, they were just in person.
The same as Molly, all my classes are in person. So medicinal chemistry is in person. I'm taking ethnographic methods, which is an anthropology class, which is in person. The only class that's not in person is developmental biology, but the professor, she's a known professor at Wells, and she's very engaged with students. So we do our own thing, but she makes sure to check in on us and make sure that we're following through. And if we have a question, she responds right away. So I'm okay with the class, even though I do prefer in person. The professors make sure to adjust the online classes, not only to make sure you're learning the curriculum, but also making sure that you're okay with the online learning, since it's not for everyone, and trying to adapt to your learning style as well.
I'm teaching one in-person class and one distance class. And the distance class is indeed distance, although we meet synchronously once a week to keep everybody connected. The in-person class is a large class, and it's in one of our bigger lecture halls, and students are phenomenal. I mean, I think everybody's a little tired of masks, distancing, but what I'm impressed by is the fact that students really adapt positively to the needs of, you know, sometimes we have speakers coming in online, sometimes they come in person. There's a lot of need to be considerate of colleagues, and students do a great job with that. And it's really, I mean, I have to say I much prefer having students in the room with me than sort of distributed across the ether.
Here's an interesting question that could spark a debate. I think that would be cool if it did. The question is, what class or classes best prepare you for med school?
None. An internship will prepare you for med school. Like for me, you can go to a class and then, but you won't, you can learn the material and you can recite it back, but you're not going to learn whether or not you will thrive in that environment until you actually go do it. Like for me, like with the classes I was taking, I was still going to go to medical school, and then I did my pharmacy internship and realized I really wanted to go to pharmacy school. So I think classes can give you an indication as to whether or not you will be successful in medical school, whether or not you have like the work ethic to really get through, but it'll be your internship and your research experience that will really let you know.
Yeah, I think Molly's right in figuring out if, you know, you're in med school for the long haul. However, there are classes here at Wells that do prepare. If medical school is where you want to go, you need a strong foundation in the sciences and chemistry, biology, psychology. And, you know, one of the big hurdles into medical school is the MCAT, where all of those are looked at. And we have students that are studying for that now. I have students that are in medical school right now that still go back to my slides when they're studying, for example, nucleotide biosynthesis, and they're going back to their biochemical pathway slides. And maybe Professor Gagnon can talk about, you know, the psychology part. But being in medical school, it's, you know, we prepare you for that, and you will have the foundation to be successful.
I spend a fair bit of time chatting with med school admissions folks. And if you think about what medical schools want, and I'm using them as an example, but this is actually true for vet, dental, it's the same, really. They want people who are going to be successful in their program. They don't want people to fail or blow up in the middle of what is a very demanding, information intensive experience. So you've got to demonstrate study skills, which is not any one course, it's all of them put together. Now, the fact is, it's true, from the minute you touch general chemistry in your first year, you're prepping your MCATs. There's no question of that. That's good to know that, in fact. But here's the other thing. They're building physicians Physicians need excellent interpersonal skills. They need the mental flexibility that a liberal arts education provides you with, problem-solving skills, the ability to follow through on projects and execute and engage other people. And so what Molly is saying is actually the case. Undergraduate research, internship, clinical shadowing, service. People underestimate the value of service activities that show that you can take your time and put it at the service of another human being. Med schools are looking for strong academics, but they're looking for character and the ability to move forward through a challenging environment while working well with people.
Very interesting. Thank you all. Fernando, you were a transfer student. Aaron, you said you came in with a lot of credits. We have a question about transferability of credits. How is Wells credit evaluation policy? How transferable were your credits when you came in?
Well, I transferred from CCC, and I believe I did get an associate's degree from there. I did graduate. All my credits but 6 transfer, so I was very happy about it. All my basic classes like English and Chem 101, 102, and all those kind of subjects transfer relatively easy, and I was very pleased about it. I know I was like talking to some other schools where they were really just gonna take about, I don't know, maybe like 44 of my credits. So I was very, very happy that I could transfer most of my credits, except like a couple. I think it was like remedial classes for English, really, because I still hadn't really learned that much English at that point. But other than that, I mean, Wells was very understanding, and they were critical to like help me finish within the timeline.
To also add to that, I came in from high school with AP credits, and Wells is very nice and takes a lot of AP credits as well. So I was able to transfer my scores from, I believe it was biology, I believe it was, it's been a while, English language, and Spanish. So I was able to transfer my first semester of Spanish, and then I had to take Spanish too, but I was able to use some of the credits in order to take more advanced classes and take a little bit more classes because I came in with some credits. So Wells was very nice taking my AP credits, and I was able to finish the Spanish requirement a lot earlier. So then I was able to take other classes that may have not fit my schedule because you would have to take like a language or something like that.
Yeah, for me, I did my high school had a dual credit option with Tompkins Cortland Community College, and I actually came in with 21 or 22 credits, I believe, and Wells took all of them. So even though I was socially a freshman, I academically was a sophomore, and just, went up in the line, especially when we're doing room draw later on. I got to pick like rooms, my dorm room for the next year before my freshman classmates. So that's like a really good perk to have. But on the academic side of things, like I said, Wells took all of them. And so they took my calculus courses, my English courses. So there were, like Aaron was saying, there were certain classes that I didn't have to take. So I could get further in my degree slightly faster than my other freshman classmates.
I like this next question because it's about orientation, and do we have an orientation program? And of course, yes, we do. And it occurs right before the beginning of the fall semester. I like it because there's so many things about the orientation program that are kind of some of my favorite things about Wells, and it's where students at Wells get introduced to a lot of the traditions that are associated with student life. But I'm wondering if any of our panel would like to talk about some of the things that happen during orientation and what that's like.
I remember orientation because there was a solar eclipse, so everyone kept talking about it, but that's why I remember it. But Orientation is pretty cool. It's weird because I was from Massachusetts and then I came and then I didn't know anyone. So you're gonna hate it, but there are icebreakers. But then there's a lot of they do a lot of fun games and they break you up into small groups where you get to bond with certain people. Even if they're not from your major, you get to meet people from other majors, which is pretty nice because if you meet people from your major, you get to know them already since they'll be in the same class as you. But you get to branch out, expand your social network a little bit, just because in these orientation groups you're able to do activities, go on hikes, student activities, also organizes events, and it's a good, I think the freshman orientation is important because you get to meet people in your class so that you don't feel alone when then everyone comes back and then you're not like clueless. You actually have a friend group to like hang out with and then branch out to meet everyone else that goes to Wells, since the school is we're like a family since we know everyone, or try to at least.
Yeah, and definitely you will meet people right away. I know for me, the very first person I met at Wells, she's still my best friend to this day. She's my roommate right now. So you'll meet people that the friendships will last. For me, I've also been an orientation leader the last 2 years, and I found that leading the orientation is so much fun, and I highly recommend it. It's really fun to introduce all of the new Wells students and introduce them to, like Gerard said, all of our traditions, because we do have a lot, and it's like just a really big community, and it's just a really fun process.
Also, to bounce off of Molly, one of my best friends is, well, he's also lives on my floor, and like I think the 5th person I met is now my roommate, so we're still really good friends. And yeah, I know it's not the first, but he's one of my good friends, and it's been 4 years, and he didn't get annoyed with me yet, and we're roommates. So these people you meet during orientation are people that you'll hang around and get to know for good for hopefully after college as well.
Excellent. And so with that, we're coming toward the end. I'm going to give panelists an option here as we go around and finish up the program. You can say nothing. Hardly anybody ever picks that. You can say what your favorite Wells College tradition is and why, or you can offer a piece of sage advice to our students as they're looking at their next step. So I'll stop and see who wants to say something.
Well, I'll start off. So, like I said, I love really getting to know the students and the culmination of their time at Wells. I love the tradition of the faculty student kickball game. Right, Fernando? I can't wait for it this year. So,
one of my favorite actually traditions was senior week. So I actually was a commuter on top of being a transfer student and an international student. And I really decided, it's not that nobody invited me or anything like that, but I decided not to participate in a lot of like the traditions like odd even week, that kind of stuff. But senior week definitely was a lot of fun. That game was great. We beat the professors, and I mean, it was relatively easy. So, you know. No, but definitely that kind of relationship with the professors and the ability of like play just a simple game of kickball with them. I mean, it's something special.
One of my favorite traditions at Wells also comes at the end of an undergraduate career here, and that is that they pull out the original Wells Fargo stagecoaches from storage and hook them up to real live horses. And on the day of graduation, you and your parents or family or friends get a horse-drawn ride in the stagecoach. One of the only places in the world that you'll get to do that is at Wells College.
I think for me, my favorite tradition is called late night breakfast. It happens the night before the first day of finals week, so it's usually a Sunday night, and it's basically that the school and the professors, they're all aware that we're going to be up all night studying anyway. So they're like, well, why don't we just serve them breakfast at 11 p.m. in the dining hall? So it's a really fun event. You'll go, the first like 100 people get t-shirts, there's prizes, there's music, the professors serve you breakfast. So I really like that event that happens every semester.
I say my favorite tradition is men's odd even. I had the opportunity to be part of the team, which was really cool. And you don't have to be good at dancing or dodgeball. And it's just the people that you are on the team kind of become your family, since you're bonding with them. You're dancing till 1 a.m, learning just dances. And you don't have to be a dancer to do it, but I just found it like a really cool bonding experience. And then at the end, everyone is cheering and laughing, and it's just you put on a good show, and it's a really good opportunity to have a friendly competition with other classes. So like people that are a grade below me, or just being with your friends and laughing at the dances and dodgeball tournament, having a friendly competition, and then come together in friendship afterwards and just celebrate a good time.
I don't particularly have one favorite tradition because we do a lot of activities here on campus, even with COVID. Like grocery bingo was super fun the other day, where you play bingo, and if you get bingo, you can go and run around and grab all the groceries you want, which is super fun. And I agree with Molly as well about the late night breakfast. It's one of like the best traditions here, along with odd even. So yeah, there's a lot of fun things to do, like go hang out at the boathouse or go to the grind or do whatever. But yeah.
I'm kind of an odd even fan. I think my first exposure to it when I got here was looking for an office in Macmillan, and somebody, which is our main administrative building, and somebody carefully explaining to me that all the odd numbered offices were on one side and all the even numbered offices were on the other side. And I thought, that's just exceptionally strange. But it turns out that's a pervasive theme, and there's quite a bit to it. I'm still learning, but it's pretty cool.
Deb, anything to add?
I offered the stagecoach ride.
Oh, you did?
It's
I'm
my-
sorry.
Yes, it's my favorite
Right by
tradition.
that.
How about you, Gerard?
Well, what I'm
Yeah.
going to say, yeah, I have a number of things that have become favorites for me, but still, it's the convocation part of orientation. It's the circle of light with candles, and I'm just always impressed because at other institutions I've seen convocation is about the incoming class, and this is that, but all the students are there. So your upper class students are welcoming the incoming class, and it just underscores for me the kind of tight, close community Wells College is. And at the end, the seniors who are dressed in academic regalia run down and literally jump in the lake. And I just think that's spectacular. I want to thank our panelists and thank every one of you for attending and participating tonight. And I just want to remind you that while we've enjoyed this interaction, nothing takes the place of a visit to campus. And we are open and ready to welcome you to campus. We will connect you with other students. We will connect you with faculty. And we're looking forward to continuing the conversation. So thank you all very much, and have a great evening.